Right, so I've basically been using this for a couple of weeks now. So I've got familiar with some of the features, but first things first, we'll just familiarise ourselves with the specs. We do have a 5-inch display. It is Gorilla Glass 3. We have the early phobic coating, if I've said that right. We're running Marshmallow version 6.0, I believe, on this one. It is a quad-core processor running at 1 GHz, and we've got that Mali T720 GPU. It's only a 720p display, it's not full HD, so you know, it's a bit of disappointment. Front megapixel camera is a 5 megapixel. The rear is an 8 megapixel camera. RAM 1 gig. Storage wise, we've got internal memory of 8 gig, sorry, and it's expandable up to 32 gig with the SD card expansion slot. And then we have the usual bells and whistles, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. We do have, it does support USB OTG, which is a good thing to have. It's not NFC. That's a bit of a downer, but you know. It comes in 2 colours, black or white. Now, I'm not too sure, but I believe there's two different versions of this, or 3 different versions, depending where you look. And it's the internal memory that seems to differ, and possibly the RAM. But that could just be a lot of jargon that I've read, but you know, sort of put that across. So, have a look around the device quickly. First thing you notice is that a big fish lip, if you will. That's the speaker as well as the microphone, I believe. At the bottom, well, just the USB charger and that little lip to pull the back off. Top, we have our camera. That's the headset speaker, and we have our little sensors and a little indicator light. Just the top, that headphone jack, nothing special, but there is a headphone jack. As you see in that 8 megapixel camera with a flash, we have a little microphone there. You can see that again. Sorry about the lighting. This house sucks for lighting. Where was I? Yeah, microphone, that little indentation that Moto likes to use, just so it could put your thing on, your finger on while you're holding your phone. Power lock button, volume controls, and that's that. Now, one thing I mentioned just off the hat, even though the power button, if you can see that it's ridged. Now, every time I always go for the lock button here, because I'm used to it being there. I use Sony's mainly, and obviously theirs is right there. So I do keep finding myself putting the volume up or down rather than unlocking and locking the screen. So that in itself is quite annoying. Now, I thought I'd get used to it, having the phone for a couple of weeks now, but I haven't. I mean, you probably would through time, but for me it's just a little bit annoying. But anyway, speed wise, it's not that bad. It does have some lags now and again, but nothing too special. As you can see, it's very stock based. On some of the other Moto E's, there's other software, I believe, but on this one, it's very stock. App tray, self-explanatory. Now, me personally, I don't really like this because there's not a way that I know of to get rid of this stupid search bar other than adding another launcher, which I have done. I've added the Zen UI launcher, which I normally use, but I've just reverted it back to the stock one just for the purpose of this video. But I just don't like, having this big thing on my home screen. I just don't like that, and I'm sure a lot of other people are in the same boat, or are like me, just don't like it. On some phones you can get rid of it no problem just by pushing and holding and dragging, but in this you can't, because it's got actually Google's home launcher like pre-installed, and you can't get rid of it or nothing, or even disable it, other than installing a third-party launcher. So if you drag across, you'll get to the Google Now. Some people like it, some people don't. I mean, I suppose it's good for information and stuff, but if I wanted information, whatever else, I'll just Google it, but never mind. It's a little app folder for Google, pre-installed Google stuff. Other than that weather bit, I'd put that on. I did go out last week and take a few photos. The camera, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? We've had worse, we've had better, I suppose. But it's whether you like that sort of thing or not. I mean, most people it's just point and shoot, isn't it? But I like to be able to. I mean, you can see that lag there. I mean, I'm pushing the button, but there you go. Yeah, the images are not that bad. I find though, like, obviously it being like winter, I suppose. When you're out and about, you've got the leaves or whatever on the trees and on the floor or whatever else. I do find that you're putting it on the cloudy setting on white balance makes the pictures come out really, really nice. The colours just seem to be a lot better there, but I suppose the lighting situation and stuff. There is a few issues that I personally have with this phone. Well, the first one I've mentioned was the power lock button. The placement of it. It was a bit not familiar with my fingers, if you will. It just doesn't, I'm trying to put it in a way that it's not, putting the phone down, but I feel it could be a bit more than it is, I mean, it is this year's model. I mean, fair enough, it's like a budget sort of phone, but I do feel like it could be better, it could offer more. I mean, with the screen, it's 5-inch screen. I'm sure it's capable of doing full HD. I mean, the camera at 720p, it all just seems like, toned down. Even annoys me as well as there was not actually a proper gallery app to view photos, so you're pretty much forced to use the Google's photos. Now, me personally, I do not like that. I really, really don't like that. I mean, it keeps hounding me to upload my photos to Google, which I don't like doing. So I had to install a third-party gallery app, which is obviously run by ads. So that was a bit of a nightmare. But anyway, the other one was when it's laying flat. It rocks. Now it's annoying because when you try to type, it's going all over the place. I mean, it's not really a fault as such, it's just a bit of a nuisance. But, I mean, the phone does have a lot going for itself. The design itself is really, really nice. I really like this designer phone. It's really, really nice. It's splash proof, which is obviously a good one. Not waterproof, but splash proof. performance-wise, it's not that bad. That's the cat. Again, I feel it could be better, but you know, it's an alright phone. I mean, me personally, I would use this as a secondary phone, not as my main driver phone, because it just doesn't give me what I really need. It does have a little indicator light, but when the screen's off, it actually indicates like you can actually see like this whole portion of the phone lights up as well. So that was a bit of a nuisance. Now outdoors, the display outdoors is great. I've got no issues with that whatsoever. It seems to slow down on certain things. It doesn't like multitasking. Doesn't like running so many apps in the background, but it runs Pokemon Go fine for any of you that wants to know. No issues there. I did have, when I first installed it, it was a bit sluggish. It was a bit, stuttery at first, but afterwards it was fine, no issues. But like I said, I tend to use the Zen UI launcher rather than Google's. There's obviously other ones out there, but I like this one because the Zen pad that I've got uses it as well, so I'm quite familiar with that. As you can see, it's far better layout. I mean, even with the messages, it's like you're forced to use Google's sort of messaging app as well. Let me just go back to, excuse the cat. Like the messaging app itself, it's, you can either go with this one or the Google Now and stuff like that. Which again, I don't like. I don't like to be forced. I mean, you can download other messaging apps or whatever, but it's whether you trust them or not. So I tend to use the ones that are obviously pre-installed on the phone. But it is what it is, I suppose. But obviously, my main one was the design. It's a really nice design. I do like this. And obviously it's handy at being splash proof, but obviously not waterproof. So if it gets wet in the rain or whatever, fair enough. But if it falls in the toilet, or whatever, I can't guarantee that it's gonna work. Or if it does, it might not work properly or whatever. I mean, fair enough. It's the stock version of Android, so you can't really, there's no, bloatware or crapware on it, which is good. Apologise for this focusing, I don't know what's going on, lighting or whatever. But yeah, it's version 6.0. I tried to find out if this would get version, Android 7, but from what I'm hearing at the minute, it doesn't look likely. But we can all hope, I suppose. I mean, if it does, it probably won't be anytime soon. But when I got out of the box or whatever, it did install some security updates, which was obviously good. So, but yeah, I mean, function-wise, it's okay. I mean, it does the basic stuff that you'd think. I mean, there was one good option. I mean, the last Motorola phone I had was the Motorola StarTAC and the Motorola Razr, so it's been a while. But there was, let me just find it. There's an option here that I really liked. Where is it? Yeah, it's emergency broadcast. Now I don't know if it supports it around here in the UK or whatever, or if it's just American other places. But I thought that was quite cool. If there's any issues or whatever else, it's beamed straight to your phone. I thought that was quite a nice touch. I don't know if other manufacturers do that as well. It is 4G. 4G speeds are quite good. Obviously Signal and area pending, but good speeds. Wi-Fi speeds are good. The OTG option is just great. You know, you get some other phones that are more expensive that don't even support that. So that's always a nice function to have. I mean, other than that, it's, you know, it's pretty much the same as any other sort of, you know, budgety phones. It's just the Google part of it really annoys me. You know, that you can't shift that or anything like that. But like it says, use a different app for your home watcher and stuff, and you're good to go basically. So that's just going to sum it up now. I mean, there's probably a few things that I've missed, but I think I've covered the basics. Overall, the phone's is good. It would be great for, like, you know, people that are just getting into smartphones and stuff, but other people have got, like, you know, flagship phones that, you know, used to great features and stuff like that. I suggest probably if you want to get that, either get it or, you know, just for a second phone or whatever. But yeah, I mean, good points, bad points, more good points than bad points, I suppose. But yeah, that'll do for now. Apologising again for the lighting and the focusing. I don't know what the hell's going on with this. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.